So, let's talk about 2025. For India's automobile industry, it wasn't just a good year, it was an absolute blockbuster. We're talking shattered records and sales charts that were just on fire. We're going to break down this incredible story, and trust me, it's a wild ride.
Now, you might be wondering where we're getting all this info. Well, everything we're talking about today comes from this single source, the front page of the Business Guardian from January 2nd, 2026. This one article gives us all the juicy details and data we need to really understand what went down.
And the headline number? Wow, it is just staggering. The industry sold nearly 3.96 million passenger vehicles in 1 year. To put that in perspective, that is the highest annual sales number ever. Period.
Okay, so how did we even get to a number that massive? Here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at the record-breaking year itself. Then, we'll meet the companies leading the charge. After that, we'll unpack what was fueling all this growth, check in on the commercial sector, and finally, we'll peek into the crystal ball and see what 2026 might have in store.
All right, let's dive into our first section, a record-breaking year. To really get a feel for how huge this was, we've got to put that 3.96 million figure into context.
And this is what I'm talking about. You can see right here that 2024 was already a really strong year, hitting 3.79 million. But what's amazing is that 2025 didn't just match that. It built on that already high number and pushed things even further. This wasn't some sudden spike, it was a powerful, sustained momentum.
So who exactly was behind this massive sales number? It certainly wasn't just one company. For Section 2, let's meet the market leaders, the key players who really powered this incredible performance. Okay, this slide really lays out the whole battlefield. You've got the industry titan, Maruti Suzuki, setting its own new record, which is impressive. But honestly, the real story is the fight happening right behind them. Hyundai put up a solid 8% growth, sure. But just look at Tata Motors and Mahindra. We're talking 25% and a whopping 30% growth. They were absolutely on a tear.
And we just have to zoom in on Tata Motors for a second, because what they pulled off was genuinely exceptional.
25%. I mean, just let that sink in. In a market this competitive, to grow your sales by a full quarter in a single year, that's a massive deal. It's clear proof that whatever Tata was doing, it was working. And it was part of that bigger trend we saw with Mahindra's incredible 30% jump too.
Which of course leads to the next big question. What was going on here? What was the fuel for this industry-wide fire? Why did so many people suddenly decide 2025 was the year to buy a new car?
Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was more like a perfect storm. The article points to a few key factors. First, the love for SUVs just kept getting stronger. Then, and this is crucial, demand from rural areas picked up, showing that the growth was widespread. Add in a bunch of successful new car launches, good economic conditions, and a big boost from the festive season, and boom, you've got a record year.
And you know, this economic energy wasn't just about people buying cars for their families. As we head into Section 4, we see the commercial sector was also booming. And that, my friends, is a really powerful sign of a healthy economy.
Just take a look at this snapshot from December. Tata Motors moved over 34,000 commercial vehicles. Another major player, Ashok Leyland, sold nearly 17,000. These aren't just abstract numbers. They mean that businesses are confident, they're investing, and goods are moving across the country. That's a great sign.
So, after a year for the history books, the billion-dollar question is, can they do it again? For our final section, let's look at what might be coming down the road in 2026, using some insights straight from an industry leader quoted in the article.
And here we have it, straight from the source. This is Girish Wagh, the executive director at Tata Motors. He sounds pretty confident, right? He's pointing to a strong pipeline of new cars, updated models, and a big focus on greener engines as the keys to keeping this incredible momentum going.
So when he says sustaining the growth momentum, what does that actually mean? Well, it's not about sitting back and hoping for the best. It's a real strategy. It means you can't just rely on last year's hits. You have to keep bringing new and exciting products to the market. Keep your existing lineup feeling fresh and invest big in the future, which right now means eco-friendly engines.
And this brings us to our final thought for today. There's no doubt about it. The Indian auto market was an absolute powerhouse in 2025.
But, as the newspaper itself reminds us on its very same front page, the world is still dealing with some persistent global challenges. And so, the real nail-biter question for 2026 is this: can this incredible domestic fire keep burning bright even with potential headwinds from the global economy? That's the story we'll all be watching.